I bet the whole woods is going to stink like rut. It's going to be good. People who don't love them have never gone after them. It's not like mule deer where like sneeze in the wrong direction and all the deer and within 500 yards are gone. If you told like a regular Alaskan that, they'd either like start hysterically laughing or they'd be like, are you okay? Where's your thought process? We were hiking along and we were glassing this hillside and the bear was so big on the hillside that I assumed it was a bush. Even if it involves like driving halfway across the country to just try. Just try, man. Like, go do it. Hey everyone, my name's Drew Kress, wildland hunter, and you're listening to The Wild Initiative.
Put down your latte and pull on your boots.
I would rest at peace for eternity if my legacy was that I made a positive influence on the non-hunting public about what hunters are and what hunting is.
I finally got my buck on our last real day of hunting.
So a pro-hunting organization is voting against hunting. And that says anti-hunting to me.
There was a year straight where I was averaging up to 200 death threats a day.
I hugged it. Like I just wanted to hug a bear.
It's proven that the average steak in a grocery store touches 50 to 100 hands and machines. And we're putting that into our body.
Hey y'all, Cable Smith, host of the Lone Star Outdoors show here.
This is Adam Weatherby.
I'm Corey Jacobson with Elk 101.
This is Christy Titus.
Hey folks, this is John Bear.
You're listening to The Wild Initiative.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of The Wild Initiative, brought to you as part of the Waypoint Outdoor Collective. So y'all, getting on with today's episode, I am here in Prescott, Arizona. I am days away from my elk hunt and got to meet up with my buddy Drew Kress. We originally, it was SHOT Show that we ran into each other, right?
Yeah, I saw your face at SHOT Show and I was like, oh, fuck, I know that guy. So then I had to go introduce myself. And then, yeah, when I saw you coming out to Arizona, I just like, wanted to see what I could do for you, and dove hunting was, an awesome plus.
That was a lot of fun. Even though, we didn't get a ton of birds. Wasn't super busy, but it was like the perfect little intro. It was mellow. It was fun time. If my shotgun would have stopped jamming, that would have been nice, but
yeah, just like a good build up, getting your taste of Arizona is kind of cool. And then finally it's cooled down. So, I'm sure the elk are bugling right now, but I think it was 40 this morning. So I think, I bet they'll start ripping pretty good.
I have a feeling like the rut, it's like they want to start rutting. I've just been, from what I've been hearing from people in the area, it's like they really, really want to start rutting. They just, with the weather and how it's been, they weren't quite getting into it. And I think now, starting my hunt over the next couple of days, they're really going to start kicking it off. And
I really hope so for your sake. I don't live here all the time, but from what I understand, it's just been a weird monsoon season. So even deer hunting was really weird to start out. I had a really weird first couple weeks, but I don't know. You got plenty of time, right? You're here for the whole season.
Yeah.
So at some point, I bet it's just gonna get hot and ruddy, and it's gonna be great. I bet the whole woods is going to stink like rut. It's going to be good.
It's like the weird things hunters say. Oh, man, it's going to be awesome. The whole woods is going to just smell like sex. Elk sex.
You know what? I wonder how bad the elk piss will smell. I've never smelled it. That's going to be interesting. You'll have to let me know, though. Because you're the lucky guy who gets the tags. Dude, I'll have 9 points next year. I doubt I'll get it next year, but...
See, I'll admit, I've gotten some pretty lucky draws. I drew Audad in New Mexico, my first time putting in for it.
What unit was that again? Was it the 34 East?
I want to say
Santa Fe Mountains, right?
Now I feel stupid. It was so long ago. I can't.
That's all right.
I'd have to go look back, but
I did the over the counter one this year.
You?
Yeah, and me and my little brother hiked our butts off, and it would how it was with the bluffs there and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see some on the other side of the bluff, and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do now? There's no way I'm going over there. So that's what ended up happening to us for 4 days, and that was near Alamogordo. Yeah. But anyway, sorry. Back to the tag draw.
Well, no, I was gonna say that was one of those things. I brought my bow and I brought my rifle. And I was like, I might try it with my bow. And then I got hooked up with these guys. They were friends of a friend. And they're like, yeah, we'll take you out. We'll put you on some Audad. And They're like, there's no way you're getting one with your bow. Like, just where we're taking you,
That's
it's
what I
just
heard
not
too.
going
Like,
to happen.
like their eyesight is just like fantastic, which I did end up seeing. But
so I brought out my rifle. I brought out my 30-06, thinking that'd be fine, and then no.
what was that? They think that was too much gun or what?
No, not enough gun.
Oh, not enough.
I
brought my 6.5.
Well, so yeah, they were saying, like you were saying, the bluffs. You're like, you're on one side, you see them.
Yeah.
700 yards across the way.
Oh, are they just like talking about like Tim Tebowing a football across the other side? Or?
I took my Audad 625 yards.
Oh, jeez.
One shot.
Yeah, I didn't have my rifle that much.
30-06 ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
I used one of their 300 Win mags, which using somebody else's rifle is just
it feels weird.
Weird, especially when it's all set up for them.
And like when you're right behind it, like you're just like that thought process in your head. You're like, man, I really hope I did not wound this thing. Like I'm gonna be very upset because it's not yours. It's just just like with a different bow. Like I could not pick up a different bow and just be like, 20-yard pin.
Jeez. Well, shooting a bow, too, is so individual, even compared to shooting a rifle. Like,
yeah,
two people shoot a rifle, and generally they'll be on target, I feel like. There'll be a little bit of differences in sight picture, and, especially if you're using irons versus a scope. But shooting a bow...
it's more personal.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Like, I mean, shoot, you just change your anchor point slightly. You may have everything else lined up properly, but just one little teeny thing changes. And suddenly you're going from slamming them right into the center of that target to hitting the hay bale all around it.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I'm learning that lesson the hard way with this hunt coming up. I've been practicing my shooting probably more than just about anything else.
Yeah.
Or any other year, and it's gotten me into my head more. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean. I think like what we talked about yesterday, like the best thing you can do is just when that opportunity comes is like just keep staring that hole until where you're trying to shoot and like being calm. And you're like, because like I almost feel like I just lose a sense of reality when I get into those moments. Like I almost feel like I'm a little bit outside my body and like the control's not there. But like what helps me if I like just like take a breath and I'm like, yeah, I'm here, this is happening. Like stay calm. Pick that spot, follow through. That's always helped me a lot.
That was one thing. I had Joel Turner on the podcast. We were talking about shooting, and he runs those shooting seminars and stuff. He has like his very technical way of kind of overriding your body chemistry and stuff to shoot better. And one of his big things is like, what do you say before you shoot? And everyone has a different answer. Like, oh, well, I think this. He's like, no, like you should say something. Like it doesn't have to be. You're not like walking yourself through your steps necessarily. Yeah, you're doing that, but say the same thing before you shoot every time, and it's a cue to like hone in and like get out of that like automated spot where you have no control, where you're out of your body. And everyone, like for some people, it's like okay, it's just like that simple. It's like okay. Or it's like, this is it. Or
mine's pick a spot.
There you go. There you go. Mine is allons-y.
Interesting. What's that mean?
So I'm a giant Doctor Who nerd. And most people listening to this are probably like, huh? What?
Yeah, like just how I felt.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a giant, like, I love fantasy novels, Dungeons and Dragons, all that stuff. I used to run Dungeons and Dragons games. I'm a huge nerd. And I'm proud of it. So the TV show Doctor Who, one of the characters, it's basically French for let's go.
Okay.
And he used to say that all the time, and it's always been stuck in my head. So before I shoot, every time I say allons-y. When I'm shooting, when I'm practicing, I say it out loud. When I'm like doing real world like field situations, I just say it in my head. But it resets my brain and it ensures that I'm going through the steps like I need to. Then I remember to focus and like you said, burn that hole in. That I'm squeezing properly. I'm holding the bow right. Like it de-automates everything. And it puts me into a better spot. So for me,
the pick a spot came from, I was 14 years old in Wisconsin, and I had this huge buck that my older brother ended up shooting, walk like 30 yards in front of my stand. Like, not a bad shot. And I was so nervous because of the fact that it was a big buck. Buck fever. But I was just staring at his antlers because I was so fascinated. So instead of like looking where I needed to shoot, I pulled back my bow. I don't even remember aiming. And I released, and like the arrow probably went like 4 feet over its back because I was just like in full panic mode. So the pick a spot is just like, yeah, look where you got to kill that deer or elk or whatever, you know.
Well, I think that's like one of the first things people tell you, like when, especially with a bow, when you're hunting. It's like, you know, the whole concept of aim small, miss small. We've all seen The Patriot, you know.
Yeah.
And it, you know, it's like, okay, are you shooting at the broadside of a barn? You know, then your margin of error is going to be a lot larger. You know, you aim big, you're going to miss big. The smaller, the more and more you narrow that window that you're aiming at, the less margin of error you're going to have. And, you know, so I think one of the first things, you know, people tell you when you're shooting a bow especially is like, okay, you don't look at the vitals as a whole. You're like, okay, you know, this is the whole area of the vitals. As long as I'm in there, I'm good. You're like, no, you pick that like one little slightly darker tuft of hair.
Yeah.
That's like sitting right in the center of the vitals, and you're aiming for that tuft of hair. You're not aiming for all the vitals, just that one tuft of hair. So even if you miss by the whole width of that tuft of hair, you're still like well in that section.
Right in the breadbasket. Yeah.
But so you're talking about that deer at 14. What really got you into all of this? Like, how'd you get introduced to hunting, the outdoors, all of this?
So, I mean, just like most people, and I actually wrote an article a little bit ago that was pretty good on this. Yeah, it's just like from your parents, you know. Like my dad grew up hunting, and, you know, when I turned 9, you know, Wisconsin rules, you know, you could go hunting. Actually, I don't even know if that was Wisconsin rules. It might have been just submitted to breaking the law. But, yeah, I shot my first deer with a rifle, and from there it was just like my dad holding my hand and then just like me slowly like going off on my own. And then, yeah, like by the time I was in high school, you know, I was like out driving myself out to spots to hunt in Wisconsin, and I felt I was doing pretty good. And then me and my brothers, we also trapped and fished a lot. Like, you know, we had the outdoor bug. Like, you know, it was a disease to us, and it still is. But then when I graduated high school, I joined the Army, and I got stationed in Alaska. So like my life has been like, you know, I don't even know how to explain it. Like just something so great. Like my choice of joining the Army, like it wasn't like I was going to go get stationed in Alaska. It was just me like, yeah, I want to go serve my country and, you know, do some cool stuff. And then like I was in airborne school, and they're like, Drew Kress, come to the front. And I came to the front, and they handed me these papers. They're like, Fort Richardson, Alaska. And I was like, no way, dude. Like I'm in for like such a heavenly treat. So yeah, I got up there in 2014, and I still live there in Palmer, and then I'm here for the flight school now. But anyways, back to those draw odds that you were talking about too. It's like the whole lower 48 is against me. That's what I feel like. I have, well, I mean, this year I drew a Coues deer tag, but I had double the points for the bonus round. It was just like one of those ones where I'm like, that's it. Like I'm getting this and I'm going hunting, you know? And the odds are terrible for non-residents, but I mean, nothing you can do about that. But the thing is, Alaska, every single year, it's a true lottery. You know, it's not like you get more points every year and have better odds. It's like a true lottery every year. And like most of them are like between like 5% and 10% chance of drawing. And every single year I get one. Last year I got a Kodiak brown bear tag and a mountain goat tag. And this year I got another mountain goat tag that we were talking about that yesterday on the dove hunt. Yeah,
I mean, you're showing me that picture that brown bear, and I'm jealous as sin of that thing. That's like a brown bear, especially like a Kodiak brown bear with my bow.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I've said this, the listeners probably have heard me say this a million times. Like that is like the epitome of being a man to me. Like,
yeah, just hunting like, you know, North America's biggest predator, you know?
Like I mean, there's just nothing not intimidating about like a Kodiak brown bear. Like their size, their power, their speed, like everything about them is designed to just wreck you in every possible way.
So the first day we got to like my hunting zone, because there's multiple zones on Kodiak for the brown bear hunts, and I drew a specific zone. We were hiking along, and I had 3 of my buddies with, and we were glassing this hillside. And the bear was so big on the hillside that I assumed it was a bush. So I skimmed right over it, and then my buddy was like, with his naked eye, he was like, "Is that a bear?" And I was like, "We've been hunting for 2 hours. Like, it's not a bear." And I looked up there, and like, what do you know? It was a bear. Like, it looked like a minivan, just like roaming around the side of the hill. And be it, this was when I ranged it. I think it was 800 yards away. So like, I was just like, what in the world? Like, this is crazy. And then like going up there, like busting brush to get up there, like it was just like heart racing the whole time. I didn't end up getting that one either. I got lost like in the brush, and my buddy was watching from the bottom. And when I met up with him later, he was like, "I don't know how you're still alive." He's like, "You were 10 yards away from that bear."
Oh,
he's like, "You went up
gosh.
the wrong drainage," and like pretty much went to go shake hands with the bear. And luckily the bear ran away because, you know,
Oh, man.
he didn't know what I was, I think.
That's got to be like, I mean, you know, you didn't know at the time, but afterwards, that's got to be awfully butt puckering. You're like,
Oh, 100%, yeah.
oh,
I didn't
man.
even hear it either.
That's the crazy thing. It's like all of these animals, these giant animals, whether it's elk or bear, this or that, and you know, you would never know unless, you know, if they're trying to be quiet, never know until they're on top of you.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it. But so you're up there in Alaska, you're living the dream, chasing goats, chasing bear. I'm jealous. I'm thoroughly jealous. That's for sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, most people are, man. Like, I get a lot of messages on Instagram where people are like, "How do I do that? How do I do this?" And I love answering them too, because when I first got up there, like, it was dude who sat in tree stands and white-tailed hunt. At one point, I set up a tree stand and tried to moose hunt. Like, if you told like a regular Alaskan that, they'd like, they wouldn't. They'd either like start hysterically laughing, or they'd be like, Are you okay? Like, where's your thought process
Did you
on
get
that?
dropped as a child?
Yeah, for real. And so it took me years to like actually like figure out like how to actually like Western big game hunt, like actually go for walks, actually like learn how to glass, like. And it wasn't until like being up there for 3 years where I actually like harvested an animal, and it was black bear over bait, you know, which was nothing like super, you know, crazy for Alaska, but it was still like super satisfying. That's for sure.
So tell me a little bit more about Alaska. Like, what is it like? Because, you know, I feel like there's certain places for outdoorsmen that are like the dream. Like Montana's one of them.
Yeah.
Alaska's one of them.
Idaho.
You know, Idaho for sure. Like spots in, like BC is huge, albeit not as much lately because of all the regulations. But like, there's just a few places that are like the dream. Why would you say Alaska is so high on people's list? Like, what does Alaska have to offer?
I would say it's like, this is what I always tell people, like, it's big boy hunting. Like, if you're going up there, you better have some suspenders. Like, you better have a belt to tighten up, because like, you're either going to walk a long way, you're going to pay a lot of money to take a plane out to fly you a long way, like, you know, or you're going to take a boat out real far. Or, I mean, the way I always describe it, besides like the big boy hunting, is like everything is bigger. The mountains are huge there. Like sheep hunting there, like compared to like the lower 48, like the sheep hunts I've seen here, it's just like, oh my God, like we're going to go hike up that. And then if we don't see a sheep, we're going to hike over to the next mountain. And then 3 days later, we're going to hike over to the next mountain. Like it's endurance hunting is like how I kind of think of it, you know, like the bear baiting up there's really good. So like you can do like, you know, somewhat easier hunting like bear baiting, but when it comes to like moose, caribou, you know, not necessarily blacktail, but like goat and sheep hunting, like you better have some tough feet. You better have been like going on some jogs and some hikes before you go up there, you know. But like what you said, like with like why does everyone want to go to Alaska? I mean, have you seen the pictures? You know. It's mostly, I think it's mostly like moose and brown bear for people. And then you got the sheep hunters who are, you know, obviously crazy about sheep hunting. But I think out of all, like moose is probably one of the most gnarly in my opinion, besides goat and sheep hunting. Cause that's just, to me, that's just like a whole different, you know, it's like that's over here, you know, and then you have this here. Cause like I killed a moose in 2018. I just ran out of meat a little bit ago. Like 2 months ago, I like finished my last moose steak. But I just remember walking up to it, and I was like, oh my God, what do I do now, dude? Like, one hind quarter on it was like 130 pounds. Like, I just remember me and my buddy lifting it up and trying to get it in the game bag was just like a stroke and a half.
That's just... It's like, you know, in your head that animals that large exist. Mm-hmm. And even a lot of the times, like, you know, whatever, you'll go somewhere, you'll go to Colorado, you'll go to Utah or somewhere, and you may see a moose from the side of the road, but it's not the same. Well, something tells me they probably grow them a little bit bigger out in Alaska too.
Yeah, Yukon moose for sure.
Yeah. But like, when you walk up on that thing, it's on the ground, and you know in your head, you're like...
It just keeps getting bigger, too.
Oh, yeah.
To do it.
I must be almost there. Look how large it is.
Yeah.
I'm still 200 yards away. Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
Well, and the knowledge that you have to get that thing out of there, one way or the other, like, you've got to figure out a way to process that thing, like, quarter that thing, get it.
It took me and my buddy like 6 hours. Like the whole mid-morning to like afternoon. And then like by the time we got it back, we're both just covered in blood head to toe. And luckily it was a float trip, so I just had to bring it back to the raft.
Nice.
And I just took my boots off and just walked right in the creek. Yeah, it was freezing cold, but I just got all that like blood off of me and everything, but it was pretty rejuvenating.
I was going to say, that's got to be like the best. I mean, you know, like you said, that's got to freeze your ass off. But
yeah.
Like, that's got to be the best, like, I don't know, way to end a trip like that. Like,
well,
freaking...
I still had another 40 miles of river to float.
Or I should say to end your pack out is really what I meant. Yeah.
Which rafting, you know, obviously is not as hard as like walking and packing something out, but rafting is still exhausting, you know, especially on those rivers up there.
Well, you're always like, I feel like you have to always be on too to make sure you're.
Oh yeah, you're
not
always like
capsizing
rowing,
stuff.
like centered up, like making sure the meat's secured, and then like you'll hit a shallow spot in the creek, and then you'll like bottom out, and the next thing you know, you and your buddy are like dry humping the raft trying to get it off. It's pretty funny, but I just remember so many times just like getting lightheaded and almost passing out because I was just like straining so hard trying to push the raft off of like these rocks and stuff. But, man, I can't wait to do that again.
So, I mean, Alaska has everything. You know, it offers everything. You got Sitka blacktail, you've got brown bear, you've got caribou, you've got moose, you've got goat, you've got all of this stuff you can hunt. So, say somebody's like, I'm sold, man. Like, I want that adventure. I've watched way too much Meat Eater. I want, you know, I want to go on an Alaskan hunt. What would you recommend to them? Like,
I mean, so like on my Instagram, people reach out to me all the time. If you want to reach out to me, it's at Wildland Hunter. Like 100%, shoot me a DM. I just helped a guy this last year. He shot a massive bull caribou. I was super happy for him. I'll show you a picture after this. But you know, like a lot of hunts here, like I go read forums. Do you ever do stuff like that? Like, yeah. So like read forums. Magazines are a good thing to start with. I mean, with Alaska, I think the big thing to do is just like look at that list of everything they have to hunt and be like, okay, what's in my budget and time off? Like if you want to go moose hunting, you know, you better have moose or sheep, you better have like 10 days, probably 2 weeks, you know, including travel and stuff to get up there. But if you only have like a long weekend or something, you know, that's more of like going on a goat hunt or probably blacktail for sure. So yeah, figure out.
Well, you were we were talking yesterday about blacktail and your little
Kodiak Island. Yeah,
Kodiak Island blacktail.
I guess I'll share. I better not see a bunch of people though doing this because I'm gonna end up doing it. And then like, if I see somebody at the airport doing it, I'll be like, dude, that's my thing. Okay.
I heard it on the Wild Initiative podcast.
I'll be like, all right, whatever, just come with me. So yeah. The Kodiak Island road system. So you just book a flight to Kodiak City and then take a taxi from Kodiak City to the U-Haul place. Rent a U-Haul. It's $20 a day plus $1 a mile. You probably only put on like 80 miles, like, you know, on like a 4-day weekend. I mean, you can buy your tags before or you can go to the fishing game there and get your locking tag. I mean, it does suck for non-residents. It's $300 for a deer tag, but I mean, that's pretty much what it is in the lower 48 for most states, right?
I was gonna say, yeah, you're hunting like here in Arizona.
See, for me, it's all free in Alaska, so I'm like, when someone has to pay for it, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man. But so yeah, get your tag and then take your U-Haul van and drive either the north or south road system. Just get off just about anywhere. I mean, you can look at Onyx, you know, if you want to like check things out, and just go walk, dude. And like, I post all the time on Instagram, like photos of Kodiak, and I'm like, this is the most magical place. This place has magic. Like, there's spirits walking around this place, I swear. Like, and you'll probably realize it within like, 4 hours of your walk. But like, you can go walk, and if you don't see like 10 to 20 deer on like a day hunt, like you're doing something really wrong. Like, you're probably just being too loud, or I don't know where you would be if you didn't see that many deer. Like, just walking with the wind at your back all day long. Like, yeah, that's what you'd probably have to be doing. But you would still see some, like, you'd be like, oh, off to my left 50 yards. Running off, yeah. You'd be like, oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, it does depend on when you go to. Like, if you go during the rut, so like that first day I was there last year, I was telling you, we rented the U-Haul van and hunted the road system. And we only went out for like 3.5 hours, and I think we saw like a dozen deer. My buddy was using his longbow, so we were struggling a little bit, but it was during the rut, so like it was like super prime. Like, yeah, I just love that place. If you like, if blacktail is on your list, like, and you're a poor boy, that's what I would go do, because you can get a round trip ticket just for like $600 to $800, and then just pack your own food. $20 a day for the U-Haul. That's a pretty cheap hunt for Alaska,
I mean, you're effectively, okay, you're paying if you pay $300 for the tag. Yeah. I mean, under $2,000. Yeah. Effectively, you've got an Alaskan hunt. Blacktail are cool deer. Like, some people hate them, some people love them. I think they're cool.
People who don't love them have never gone after them. Like, that's what I've mostly found. Like, anybody I know who's hunted blacktail are just like, man, I just love hunting blacktail, man. Like, it's such a good time. It's not like mule deer where like you like sneeze in the wrong direction and all the deer and within 500 yards are gone. Like, they're just not that weary. And it blew my mind too, because like just the amount of brown bears on the island, and the bucks are just like like just moseying along. Like,
just could not give
sometimes
a crap.
Like they'll just look at you and just be like, hi, like, what's up, man? And then just go back to it.
I feel like compared to the lower 48, like, yeah, there's a lot of hunters up in Alaska, and a lot of people go up there every year. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people out there, but it's such a huge landmass, even the islands and stuff. Like, they just don't encounter people as, like, compared to, like, the deer down here that are, probably seeing 6 hunters a day half of the time, tromping through. They're smelling us all the time, all that crap. Like, up there, they probably just don't see it as much, so they have no reason to be as spooky and wary.
And a lot of people too that are going to Kodiak to hunt blacktail, like just specifically blacktail, they always get on a float plane and fly to the other side of the island and hunt. Like, they pay like another $2,000 to just do that, when you could, like, if you just hunt the road system, you don't even have to hunt it that hard. Like, you'll, like, if you don't get success, like, I would, like, just message me, man, and I'll Venmo you $20. Like,
here's the cost of your U-Haul
here's your
back.
U-Haul back. I'm sorry.
I mean, I feel like
I'm blocking you,
and I don't want to be. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you may not get the biggest buck in the world or whatever, but yeah, if you're not getting into them and finding success in an environment like that, like, you maybe need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe it's not time for you to go on that Alaskan hunt.
Yeah, 100%.
You probably got to learn the basics a little bit better before making that choice. But
yeah, so I'm excited. So like, I have that goat permit. It's on the road system for this year that I drew. I don't know how I drew it. I'm just like a lucky guy when it comes to Alaska. But so yeah, I'm bringing a couple buddies with too, and it's only one on the other side of the island. Like, you can shoot 3 blacktail, but on the road system, it's only 1. But yeah, like, if you go there and shoot a blacktail, just walk over to the harbor and find a little flyer for a halibut day fishing trip. Pay your $200, then go out halibut fishing all day. And the halibut fishing on Kodiak's awesome. So like, go there, get your blacktail and your halibut, and then maybe buy some king crab if you want to have a surf and turf, and then go to Kodiak Island Brewing Company, get your beer, and have your own surf and turf, man. And that is what like the Kodiak dream is made of, man. I love that.
I like that. I like it. You got the plan laid out right there, man. That really is. I feel like if you're going to pay the money to go up to Alaska, it's an investment. Any way you put it, if you're going up, you're investing. So why not invest a little bit extra, save up a little bit extra, and get that whole experience? Go for sure. Do the halibut fishing, get out on the water, go get some crab. Like, enjoy the fruits of your labor, like, while you're there.
That is a vacation in my mind. Like, forget Florida. Like, that's what I would save my money to do if I didn't live there anymore. But I still do it anyways. But
I'm gonna go. What are you gonna do for your vacation? Oh, we're gonna go to Orange Beach and just chill on the beach and have beers. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna go freeze my nuts off in Alaska.
Get soaking wet. Make sure you bring good rain gear. That's another fun fact for you.
Oh yeah, it's especially on Kodiak Island, right? It's pretty. From everything I've seen from the videos, it's pretty just
it's bad,
gnarly weather all the time.
If you listeners want to like see like the weirdness of Kodiak, go to YouTube and watch my brown bear video. It's a 2-part, but you'll like see like it'll be like nice sunny day, like beautiful, like sun shining all over you, and then it's like a hurricane comes in and just tears you apart, and then just right back to it.
So definitely bring a tarp tent, bring good rain gear.
Bring your A-game gear, for sure, yeah. I mean, unless you're okay with being miserable, then, more power to you.
I don't know. I think it's funny. It's like you listen to all that misery, and that just like makes me want to do it more.
Oh, yeah.
It's something about those
hunts.
hunts.
Like, you talk about loving it, you're like, yeah, I like the misery, like the miserable hunt. Like, that's what I'm talking. I want my knees and back to hurt so bad. And then you get out there, and you're like, man, this hurts so bad. Like... Dang it. And then you get past it and like you're on your way back from your hunt and you're like, oh yeah, dude, I'm the man. Like, I'm the toughest hunter. Like, besides that fact you had in your head, like, you're just like, please make this stop. You're like, nah, dude, I'm the toughest hunter on the planet,
It's the whole concept of the harder it is, the more worth it is, it's like 100%. In the end.
Yeah.
And you may be a little bitch in the moment. Like, yeah. You're like, oh gosh, all I want to do is quit.
I always keep that to myself. Like, you'll watch my videos and like, you'll be like, wow, this dude's just trucking along, like, can't stop him. And then like, I hit pause in the camera and I'm like, just like looking over my shoulder, like shaking my head, like, like,
you just grab a tree branch, you just beat the crap out of a tree. Yeah, I definitely don't keep it to myself. Anybody that's watched my Instagram stories while I'm hunting knows that I'm like, man, this freaking sucks. I don't know what the heck I was thinking coming out here. This was a dumb idea.
Yeah.
But then I also share, the highest of highs as well when I'm freaking stoked about something and in the middle of it. But no, I think there's just like, you watch the video, like videos of like your hunt or stuff on... Ranella has tons of stuff from Alaska up there in Kodiak, or you watch, countless, Born and Raised, Randy Newberg, like everyone's got like Kodiak videos, especially, and you just watch and like you see them, they're like miserable, they can't glass it all because it's all fogged over, they're just sitting under a tarp tent for a day and a half, like in their rain gear because the rain won't let up, and they're soaked, and then there's got to be something wrong with us because you look at that and you're like, oh, that's awesome. I want to do that. That looks like vacation to me.
Well, that's why I like filming it so much too, because like I get to watch myself after and I'm like, oh man, that sucks so much. But like looking at it now, like that looks awesome. Like, I want to go do that again. I want to go back. And I would 100% go back, I
don't know. One of these days soon, I got enough buddies at this point up in Alaska that have invited me up or like want to go hunting. I've got a couple of buddies up there they're like, oh man, anytime you want to come up, we'll put you on some caribou. And I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome. If I have kids at that time, I can tell them I killed one of Santa's reindeer.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? There's reindeer on Kodiak too. Hardly anybody knows this. Have you watched like Solo Hunter and all?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, Tim and my buddy Austin went out they're on Kodiak Island. So, like, they brought them out there, and they were feral, caribou, reindeer, and they just, like, let them go. So there's just, like, a herd running around there. And it's harvest ticket, over the counter, like, if you will bust your butt and go out there, you can shoot a reindeer. And I'm quoting reindeer.
Is there a difference between a caribou and a reindeer? Like, are they really the same? Is it like
I don't know what to tell you.
I always wondered that, because I always thought it was just a caribou was a reindeer.
If you look at, like, the antlers on a reindeer compared to, like, an inland caribou, you kind of look at them. The reindeer ones look kind of, like, thinner, a little, not scrawny, but, like, a little bit smaller. But, like, and then if you look, like, at a big bull caribou from inland, you're like, oh, wow, that's a beef boy right there, That's all I can tell. I don't think their body size are any different, but it's just the antlers, I think.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody will be listening to this, and I'll get a message on Instagram being like, "You're a dumbass. This is what a reindeer is."
Yeah, send me the definition, please.
Yeah, if anybody's listening to this and knows the difference between just any old inland caribou and a reindeer, or if it's just all locale and our imagination, please send us a message. Let me know, because I am morbidly curious now, and I'm too lazy to look it up on Google.
Yeah, I feel that.
I'm sure there's lots of Google information out there. But okay, so say somebody comes up to you, maybe it's a buddy, maybe it's just someone you happen to meet, and say they come up to you and they're like, "Man, I know you do all this hunting stuff. I know I know you're always in the outdoors. This looks so freaking cool, man, but I don't know. Like, there's so much shit to learn. It's like really intimidating. I don't know if I'm built for this. It looks cool, but I don't know if I can do it." What would you tell that person?
I would just, if they, like, actually had the desire for it, they're like, "Yeah, I really want to go do this." I'd be like, "Yeah, dude, like, you can totally do it. Like, it's not as hard as you think." When it all comes together, you're like, "Okay, wow, that was not, like, what I expected it to be." But, like, for somebody, like, who's never gone out before, I mean, for sure, like, get a mentor, But, like, and a hard thing too, like, I'm sure a lot of your listeners are from the lower 48, and a lot, like, opportunity just seems to be, like, just diminishing over time, and a lot of people, it's hard to archery hunt. Like, if people live in Arizona, like, they're like, "Yeah, I want to go hunting." And then it takes them 3 years to get a rifle take here. But you can archery hunt every year. But yeah, so, like, just opportunity like that's really hard. So, like, if you can just take the opportunity, like any opportunity, like that antelope hunt I was talking to you about yesterday, that was an over-the-counter one. Like, that was a leftover tag. And I just paid my $400 for the license and tag, and I know that's a problem with a lot of people too. They can't justify spending that much money. It's like, well, man, you either invest in it or you don't. Like, if you want to go be successful, then spend a little bit of money. Like, or if you don't want to do it at all and you just want to sit and watch me make my videos and listen to your podcast and dream about hunting, then, like, it's never gonna happen, man. Like, you just gotta get to it. Even if it involves, like, driving halfway across the country to just try. Like, just try, man. Like, go do it. Like, put your boots on, put your clothes on, and just go for a walk and be patient, have fun. Like, and the biggest thing, like, that I always preach is, like, so, like, when you go hunt, do you ever, like, just feel like you're just narrow, like, visioned?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like you're just looking at, like, one thing straight out in front of you, and you just forget to look at the whole picture. And, like, if you just will take a second to just sit down and, like, look at, like, everything that's in front of you, game or not, whether it's just land, and just be like, dude, like, I'm so lucky to be here. Like, it's nice out. I'm not dying. I'm getting to do something, like, peaceful, like, and just, like, I don't know. That's how I always feel when I go out. Like, you just let things go, like, that have been bothering you in this, like, such normal whatever people life that, like, we've created. It's just, like, stress keeps going up, and then, like, I go hunting, and then, like, I just, like, slowly bring it back down. It's just, like, not quite enough. So, like, if you've never gone hunting before, just go out and experience that, you know? It can like just something simple as dove hunting, like taking you dove hunting yesterday. I could see that you were
low
like,
impact was that? Like
you spent $5 on a dove tag, and you bought the shells for me. Thank you. You know, and $20-$30 on a box of shells, man, you know? And like, I could see like you were just like standing there, even when there weren't any doves, like I could just see like you were just relaxed, like looking out, and you're like, nice, like cool, you know?
That's the thing. It's like, you know, I liked what you said, you know, how you can get so tunnel vision. I think it's because we're so stuck in our own rat race, whether it's for work or whatever we're doing, or even our projects. It's so easy.
And a lot of problems too with like our Instagrams. We want to get that buck so bad. We want to get that bull so bad. And we want to do it in such a particular way that, yes, it is gratifying to us, but sometimes like that shortcut in your head like comes and you're like, yeah, if I can just do this to get the picture for the gram, like, you know, like I want to go hike over the next hill, but there's a buck right here next to the road and I can kill it and get a picture for the gram, you know? And so like that added stress of like wanting to get it so like you can text your buddies the picture of it and feel satisfied about that, man, I think that takes a little bit away of it, you know? And it's hard to get rid of it. Like, it's hard to, like, not be stressed out about it. So, like I said, with just, like, sitting there and, like, just, like, telling yourself, you're like, yeah, dude, I'm blessed. Like, look at this. That's, like, my kind of way of, like, breathing out, I guess.
Well, and it's so often I'll get into the field and I'll be like, okay, I have to make the most of every single second I'm doing this. I have to be on, and I have to be, if I'm not seeing it, I have to be hiking more, and I have to be moving over this ridge, and I have to be doing this. And I'm like, no, I don't have to be doing shit.
Yeah, it's like, I'm already here. I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
I'm already doing it. You know?
This is supposed to be fun, dude. I'm supposed to be enjoying this.
Yes.
And sometimes, like I said, I drag all of that crap that I have during the week, I drag that into the hunt with me, and
you're no longer glassing for deer. You're glassing how you're going to pay for the bill next week. You know, you're glassing about that other girl you're thinking about, you know? And
yeah, it's brutal. And then that moment, and I feel like, you know, it'll always take me a day or two, like, you know, and depending on the situation and what's going on and what I can see, you know. But like, it always takes me a little bit, and then I finally remember to flip that switch and just sit back. And if it's finally, you know, maybe I'm just too fed up at one point, I just force myself to sit down and just enjoy being in the woods. And I stop and I listen for a bit, and I breathe in like all the smells, and
it's quiet.
You know, you smell that nasty, musty elk piss scent over here. You know, maybe old, maybe new, whatever. But you smell the trees, the grass, the pine needles, like all of that stuff. You listen to the little creek or just the rustling of the wind, and you finally let that switch flip a little bit.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're having fun with that hunt again.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, being at full draw at a deer or a safety off and like animal in the optic is, you know, super exciting. But like, if I can just get to the point where I appreciate the fact of that I'm out there just as much as those moments, like, I'm going to be like the happiest dude in the universe, you know?
So if folks wanted to find you mentioned your Instagram, Wildland Hunter. Where else can they find you? Find the videos, all that good stuff.
On YouTube, that's the only platform I got right now putting videos. It's just Wildland Hunter, Drew Kress. I have a whole season on there, which I'm pretty proud about. I don't need the criticism for the editing. I'm not that great, man. I didn't go to school for this. Like, you know, my job in the Army was infantry, like rucksack heavy, gun go boom. And then like me pick up a computer and like put some like, you know, some music in there and some like voiceover and put some film together. You know, I'm pretty proud of myself. You know, if you guys like it, send me a message and let me know. Like, I'll really appreciate it.
If you don't like it, just shut the hell up.
Yeah,
and,
I'm freaking sorry, man. Like, I tried. Like,
yeah, if you like it, send me a message. If you don't, shut up.
Yeah,
don't need to hear that. Awesome, man. Well, I will make sure I'll drop some links on the show notes page.
Okay.
And I appreciate sitting down and taking the time. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, we were just talking about Instagram bad, but this is good. Like, I saw you coming through Arizona, and like, I would have offered you my place the other night, but I had somebody over. But, just like helping each other out, I really appreciate that. We did that a lot in the Army, and, now we're sharing a beer, and, we went dove hunting, man. That's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah. And that's, that's what I love about this is I started this to, look back at what I was doing, but to also just meet cool people, learn from them. And this has opened so many opportunities to me that, if I wasn't involved on socials, if I wasn't running this podcast, I would have never gotten a chance to do. And so I can't ever, however frustrated I get with it, however, much dumb stuff happens on social or how much drama, I can never be totally down on it because it's opened so many opportunities for me. It's crazy. But,
yeah, agreed.
All right, y'all, that'll do it for this episode of The Wild Initiative. Make sure to check out the show notes page at thewildinitiative.com. Get links to everything we talked about in today's episode. That'll do it for this week. Looking forward to next time. But until then, I hope this podcast inspired you to get involved, get outdoors, and plan your initiative for the wild.
Thank you for listening to The Wild Initiative. Please take a moment to leave a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher, and head on over to thewildinitiative.com to get show notes, check out the blog, gear discounts, other podcasts from the Wild Initiative family, and more.